All right, folks, we are back in the sack, and you know what time it is. It's major time. Welcome to the French Open coverage from the Slice, presented by Rally Tennis. There's so much to get into. The thing we all feared or thought might happen, the big three are all on the same side of the draw. Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, all on the top half. What's going to happen? The draw might just explode. We don't know. So we're going to get into that. We're going to look at who's got the easiest route to the final out of some of the top three contenders. Nadal's going for history, number 21, his 21st Grand Slam. Absolutely crazy. And Naomi Osaka has come out and just said she's not doing press at the French Open due to mental health. So we're going to take a look into that, and we're going to get to the bottom of all of the drama, all of the big news at this year's Roland Garros. Thanks for being here. Let's get into it. Thank you for being here, folks. Wow, it's major time in the tennis world is the most exciting time. Make no mistake about it. We all know that. That's why we're here. Hit the like and subscribe button. And we're going to go into the draws of Djokovic, Nadal, and team, break down how they're going to get to the final if they are. But first of that, a word from our sponsors. The Slice's coverage of Roland Garros is brought to you by our friends, our partners at Rally Tennis. Rally Tennis is the best way to compete in matches, find new practice partners, and get lots of other benefits in your area whenever you play. Maybe you play with someone and they're kind of just the only person you really know to play with. Maybe they're not as good as you. Maybe they're better than you. And you want more practice partners or to join leagues and tournaments. You can do all that on the Rally app. So download the app today. The link is below. Sign up. The leagues are going live in the middle of June, and you can get free giveaways as they're going to be rolling out here up until that point. So thank you, Rally Tennis, for sponsoring the show, our coverage of the French Open. Big time. Check them out. Also, get 10% off brand new gear at Courtside Sports, and our home club is Bear Mountain, as you guys know. But let's get into it. We all thought this might happen, folks. When Nevidev passed Rafael Nadal to be the number 2 player in the world, coming to the French Open, you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's literally a 50% chance that Nadal could be on the top half or the bottom half, meaning that if he's on the top half, he will play Novak Djokovic before the final. Why does that matter? Well, if you didn't know, if you don't follow tennis, I don't know how you're here. Nadal's obviously the favorite for the French Open. Djokovic is the second favorite for the French Open. Let's just be honest. Now they're both on the same side of the draw. That means that only one of them will be in the final, and that is a big deal. So we're not going to see a rematch of last year's final in the final. We might see it in the semifinal. So that's a big deal. So let's just take a quick look at Djokovic, Nadal, and team's routes to the final. We have Novak Djokovic. We'll go with him first, number 1 player in the world, in a little interesting match first against Tennis Sangren. American. I like Tennis Sangren a lot. He's got a pretty big game. He can hit the ball hard. Obviously not going to be... Djokovic is going to be the massive favorite, but not an easy first round, I wouldn't say. And then we got Pablo Cuevas possibly. Hugo Humbert, he's a nice young player. I really like his game. He could cause some issues. David Goffin in the 4th round, or he could cause some issues. Or who else could he play in the 4th round other than David Goffin? Possibly Lorenzo Musetti, someone like that. That could be super interesting. So a little bit of a soft 2nd, 3rd, 4th round there for Djokovic, but then he can either play Berrettini or Federer in the quarterfinals, Nadal obviously in the semifinals, and then one of Tsitsipas teams, Zverev, in the final. So is that an easy route to the final? I wouldn't say that at all. I'd say it's deceptive though, because the whole clay swing, Djokovic has been beatable. He lost to Evans, obviously coming back, and then he lost to Karatsev in Belgrade, and then he lost to Nadal, which is, you can't really blame him. But he's definitely not looking untouchable right now on the clay. It's going to be a 5-set format, obviously, at the Slam, so we're going to give him way more benefit of the doubt. But it's going to be interesting. And Nole fans, the Nole fam, who are you guys still here? I would say you're going to be watching those matches with intent from the first ball, which we all are, obviously. But yeah, that's Djokovic's draw to the final. I would say medium. It's deceptive. It looks a little bit easier than I think it actually is. Then we got Rafa Nadal. He's got an interesting one as well. Paw Print, Alexandre Paw Print in the first round, and then he can play Gasquet or Gaston in the second round. Then in the third round, he can play Lorenzo Sonego from Italy, and then he could play in the 4th round Yannick Sinner from Italy. A couple Italian sensations. Those are tricky opponents. Those guys have both been playing super well as of late, especially Sonego. And then in the quarterfinals, either Rublev, who beat him in Monte Carlo, or Karatsev. two Russians. Again, we're nationalities. He's just bouncing through the Italians and the Russians. It's crazy. And then he could play, obviously, Djokovic in the semifinals, and then either teams Zverev, Tsitsipas in the finals. So no matter what you say about this draw, it's a lot harder than his route was last year. We talked about that before. His last year's route was probably the easiest he's had in his career. This year, I think it's going to be a lot different. And he's looked beatable again on the clay. Obviously, it's the French Open, so we're going to give him massive more benefit of the doubt. This is Rafael Nadal's tournament. They literally just unveiled a statue of the man at the tournament. So imagine going to play Rafa Nadal, one of the all-time GOATs, and then just walking by his statues, and he's just like, yeah, check that out, bud. That's who you're about to play, me. Like, good luck. Good luck. So if anyone has a chance, if anyone takes Nadal out here, it's just like the biggest feat. That's like a bigger feat than winning the French Open, arguably. Now we got Dominic Thiem. Some people question, he's not the third favorite. Have you watched it? He might not be the third favorite this year, but out of respect to him getting to the final twice and being arguably usually the second best, third best clay court player in the world, we're going to look at his run in detail. He's got a tough run. He's got Pablo Andujar, then Federico Del Bonis, 2 clay quarters, and then Fognini, then Casper Ruud in the 4th round, Alexander Zverev in the quarterfinal, Tsitsipas in the semifinal, Djokovic or Nadal in the final. So literally the hardest feat you could ever have in tennis is probably going through that. Fognini, Ruud, Zverev, Tsitsipas, Djokovic, or Nadal. Like, if he wins this French Open, that is insane. And we're going to hope that team can find his level and get back to his best level at this tournament, because he hasn't been playing his best, as we know, but he also hasn't had a lot of matches under his feet. Now, one other guy that we have to respectfully talk about, Roger Federer. Coming into this tournament, Roger Federer literally said after his loss in Geneva, he said, I'm not winning the French Open. All my preparation is based on the grass court season. But obviously, he's not going to come out here and try and lose matches. He was just probably being realistic with, at the best of his career, he had a really hard time winning it. He couldn't get through Nadal. And then now he's basically turning 40 this year. So what does he look like? In the first round, he's got a qualifier, and then he's got Marin Cilic, who he's played in a couple finals back in 2017, 2018 of the Australian Open and Wimbledon. And then he's got Taylor Fritz, 3rd round, Berrettini, 4th round, Djokovic, quarterfinals, Nadal, semifinals, teams versus Tsitsipas finals. So obviously insanely hard for Federer as well, especially as the tournament goes on. But you never know. He could just he needs match play. That's what I've said. And he could put a little run together. If you remember back in 2019, we didn't think he'd go far because he had skipped the French Open the previous 2 years, ended up going to the semifinal. So that's pretty good. I can't wait to see my guy Federer play. Who are you most excited to see? It's just so much to go on here. Anyways, let's take a quick look at the potential quarterfinals. It's pretty obvious based on the draw, but just going off the highest seeds, we got Djokovic, Federer. That would be blockbuster, obviously. Djokovic would have a massive advantage there, no doubt. Rublev, Nadal, that would be pretty blockbuster as well based on the last match they played. Rublev won. Could he get it done on the French Open center court? I doubt it, but it would be a great match. Then we got Zverev Thiem in the quarterfinals, blockbuster, and then Tsitsipas Medvedev on the final. And no smoke, but I had to put a little laughing face behind Medvedev because I still don't think he's won a match at the French Open ever. He literally hates clay. He says it on the court sometimes. So it would be a small miracle if he made it to the quarterfinals of this tournament to play Tsitsipas. So I'm assuming Tsitsipas will play somebody else, probably I don't even know. Like Opelka, Dimitrov, Carreño Busta. I don't know. But I'm looking at that saying Tsitsipas, I think, has the softest little part of the draw. He can sneak up the bottom there, kind of like Nadal did last year, except Nadal wasn't sneaking. But Tsitsipas can sneak up to get to the semifinals, it looks like, to me, without much trouble. And at the end of the tournament, it's a big deal how much energy you have left in the tank. We saw that at the Australian Open, so that's a big deal. So there is a pretty detailed look at the draw on the men's side. Dark horses, though. You have to look at the dark horses, and I'm taking those guys basically who've been playing really well on clay up to this point. Aslan Karatsev, put him in there. He's a big match player. He's got just massive units that he just doesn't care who he's playing. He's going to just take his shots. Like when he beat Djokovic in Belgrade, like he was down break point like 25 times and didn't get broken. Like unbelievable shot making ability. He's been the story of 2021 so far for sure. He's a dark horse. He looks pretty good on clay. Lorenzo Sonego already won a clay title. Almost took out Djokovic in Rome. He looks super good. Dark horse. Casper Ruud, dark horse. He just won in Geneva. He's playing amazing. And then Roger Federer. I'm going to throw Roger Federer in there as a dark horse. Why Roger Federer? He's 40? Because he's won 20 slams. Put some respect on his name. I put him as a dark horse back at the 2017 Australian Open when he was coming back from injury, and I had very low hopes of him doing anything, and he ended up winning. So I'm just saying, anything is possible in tennis. We know that. If you guys are looking for my prediction on who's going to win the French Open, Rafael Nadal is going to win the French Open. That's my prediction, because when you've won it 13 times, you're just the default winner until someone proves otherwise, which is going to be an insanely hard task to do. So that's why we show up here. We watch this tournament. It's not a given. So many things could happen. So many things could go wrong. That's for sure. Now, Naomi Osaka. She came out basically citing that she's not going to answer questions from the press during the tournament. And if players don't go to the press conferences, they get fined. She's basically willing to just eat those fines. And she says that, she doesn't understand the point of the press conferences, and it can really mess with her psyche during the tournament. And she actually stated mental health as one of the reasons. Like she doesn't think that the press conferences look out for the mental health of players. Now, my reaction to that is disappointing. I like Naomi Osaka. I think she's great. I love her game. But to me, this comes off as super privileged. Like, the fact that you're getting introduced at a press conference and having journalists ask questions to you is a privilege. It means obviously you've worked to deserve it, but so many tennis players who are like pros, futures players, challenger players would die to be in your spot. And you're the highest female paid athlete in history now. You made $55 million last year, and now you're complaining about getting questions that you don't like from journalists for 20 minutes after a match, win or lose. Get real. Like, I'm sorry, but that is just weak sauce. And I think that sums up my generation pretty perfectly. It's just so tone deaf to what's like going on in the world. Stating mental health. Mental health is no joke. We all know people that struggle with it. We all struggle with it. And it's a serious topic. But I think bringing it up as like a reason for that kind of downplays what some other people's challenges are with mental health. So that's just my opinion. I don't think she won any fans doing this. Maybe didn't lose any fans either. I still like Naomi Osaka. I just think it's a weak sauce take. What do you think on it? At the end of the day, though, we're probably only going to miss one or two press conferences because she hasn't made it past the third round ever in the French Open. So anyways, on the women's side of the draw, the top three favorites based on the betting odds are Iga Swiatek, Ash Barty, and then Aryna Sabalenka. Our girl, Canadian Bianca Andreescu, has a little injury again, nothing new. She's down at number 7 on the odds, so we'll see there. The women's side of the draw is going to be also super interesting. See if Iga Swiatek can defend her title. I would put my money, though, if I was going to do that, on Ash Barty. I think she's got a lot of swagger right now. Won Miami. She likes the clay. She doesn't like it, but she plays well in it. So it's going to be interesting to see that for sure as well. Wow. There's just so much to go into. I just can't wait for the action to start. We're looking at the draw here. I'm just looking at the first round bangers, and it has to do with the big players in the men's draw. Djokovic versus Sangren. You have to watch that match. That's a tempo setter, I think, for Djokovic. That's not an easy match. We got Nadal versus Paw Print. Paw Print's been playing well. Super good young player. I think he likes the clay. He's a big hitter. He's the type of guy who can hurt Nadal. Still, obviously, Nadal will come through that. Team versus Pablo Andujar, the man who just took out Federer. There's a lot that could go wrong there for Dominic Thiem. That'll be a good, again, level setter for him. And then the biggest, by far, first-round match, the best first-round match is Daniil Nevidev versus Alexander Bublic. The funniest meme I saw today was Daniil Medvedev's going to be out there be like, I hate clay. And then Alexander Bublic will be like, I hate tennis. And then they'll just go to battle on the court. It'll be amazing to watch. It'll be absolute cosmic theater for tennis. So that's the draw. Who's your pick to win? What do you think is going to happen? Who's your dark horses? Get at us in the comment section below. Thank you so much to Rally Tennis for being our presenting sponsor. Download their app in the links below. Get around them. And also pick up your limited edition clay court only hoodie, the Court Days hoodie. We'll watch the French Open together in it. You'll be swagged out. And for the front row family, I will see you on Patreon. We'll be doing live check-ins in the mornings. I'm going to be getting up super early to watch these matches. Canadian time versus Paris time. So it's going to be an exhausting 2 weeks, but it's fun. It's why we do it. It's why we're all here. Thank you for liking and subscribing to The Slice. We will see you very soon. Check out our Instagram. We're going to be doing daily posting on there, covering the tennis for you. We got it all locked down here on The Slice. Roland Garros is just getting rolling, and I cannot wait.